everyone?
Yep.
Yeah, fine. Thanks for your response. Okay. Um, as we have discussed in the last class, we have seen Windows machine instance, how to launch Windows machine server, and then Linux also. Right. So today we are going to start our regular classes. Of course, the things which we have discussed right now, those also will be a part of this course only. So today we will jump into the regular classes. Okay, before going to learn something about DevOps tools, we just have to know basics about Linux. Okay, I hope the one who are having here, they are not having much good at Linux, if I'm not wrong. Is it not? Do you have any idea on Linux OS? Anybody?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Let me give you some basics today so that you can easily access the Linux things. Okay, so let me share the screen. Just let me know whether you are able to see this or not. Yeah. Can you able to see my screen, everyone? Whiteboard, which I have been shared. Can you able to see my screen, everyone? Kindly respond, guys.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Okay, today we are going to see some basics about Linux. Before that, we supposed to know about Unix. Okay, so let me compare with Windows. These Unix, so you will be understanding very easily. Because why I'm comparing with Windows means you people are very familiar with Windows. That's why let me compare with Windows. Then after I'll tell you about by comparing with Windows, I'll explain you about Linux things, Unix things. Then after we will jump into the DevOps tools. Okay, I think hardly 3 to 4 classes are required for explaining basics about Linux. Then we will jump into the DevOps tools. Okay, so if you are having already idea on this Linux, then no problem. You just it will be a kind of revision for you. Okay, so let me discuss about Windows. So I'm basically talking about desktop operating systems. Okay, not mobile operating system. Okay, desktop operating systems I'm talking about. So Windows. Okay, so sorry, Windows means here many Windows operating systems will be there, like Windows XP. Okay, um, after that we are having Windows 98. Windows 98 is there, and then Windows Vista is there, and Windows 7, Windows 8, and then now we have Windows 10. So these all are different versions of Windows. See, basically, I think I don't know which one is earlier, Windows Vista or 98. I'm not sure. I think Windows 90 Vista is earlier. So these all are different. What are these all are? Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. Do you have any idea about each and everything? Any idea to anyone? Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows Vista.
Yeah.
Any idea to anyone?
Different operating systems of Windows.
Yeah, we cannot say that different operating system. These in Windows, we are
Different
going to call
versions.
it
Different
as
versions.
versions. Exactly. Versions we can call in Windows. Okay, means if you observe clearly here, if you know how to operate Windows 7, you can easily operate Windows 8, right? With little modifications, right? If you know how to operate Windows 8, you can easily operate Windows 10. There will be minor modifications will be there. So in Windows terminology, we are going to call it as Windows versions. Okay. So apart from this, these are our desktop operating systems. In the same manner, we are having Windows Server operating systems. In the same manner, we are having Windows Server operating system here. Windows Server operating systems are nothing but here, just like your Windows only, we have different things. Like let me type here, like Windows Server 2008, and then Windows Server 2012. Windows Server will be having 2016, and then Windows Server 2019. Like this, we are having many Windows Server operating systems, like your Windows desktop operating systems. See, server is nothing but, I already told you, it is a kind of little high configurations. Okay, in Windows, we are going to call all this as versions. Okay, whether it is server operating systems or a desktop operating systems, we are going to call in Windows, these all are versions. Okay, in the same manner, in Unix, we are going to call, just a minute, Unix. We are going to call it as Unix. We are going to talk about Unix now. Okay. In Unix, in Windows, we are going to call it as versions, whereas in Unix, compared to Windows, first let us see about Unix here. Means Linux or Unix first. Okay, why this Unix is very popular? Anybody are having any idea? Why we are going with Unix means here there will be some advantages with Unix. Any idea to anyone?
It's a light operating system. It has no GUI, so basically, it is mostly command line based. So you don't need
Yes,
to
yes,
have
yes.
like extra applications.
Yeah, fine. See, sorry. As you said, is absolutely right. If you go to any companies, here the Windows operating systems are not at all free. That is first major drawback in Windows. Okay, but whereas in Unix, it is free. It is, the source code is freely available. That is first major advantage in case of Unix. Second one is we are having, it is source code is open to world. Source code is open to world. What do you mean by source code here? What do you mean by source code here? See, source code means here, as I said, the Windows operating system is not at all free. Right? In companies, we are going to use some versions. See, Windows is who is taking care of this Windows here? Windows is taken care by Microsoft company, right? So if they want to upgrade the version, then only Microsoft company will upgrade the versions, whether it is Windows 8 or Windows 10 and all. Okay, so nobody else in the world will be upgrading except this Microsoft company, because this Windows operating system belongs to Microsoft company. Okay, if you want to upgrade Windows version from Windows 10 to Windows 12 or something else, then no other company will be able to do that, because whatever the code, source code, which is there, means for updating this one, there will be some source code that is there with Microsoft company only. If you are paying money also, they won't give that source code to you. Okay, so if anybody want to upgrade Windows if anybody want to release new version, then nobody in the world can release the version except Microsoft company. Okay, because the source code is available only with the Microsoft company. Okay, unlike this Windows, whereas Unix source code is free, means freely available in the net. Okay, you can even take the source code and you can even modify the source code and you can keep your name also. Okay, that's why we can call it as source code is free and it is open to world. Okay, it is open to world. Generally here, this Unix operating system, basically you will be heard about all these things, like Linus Torvalds has been developed Linux operating systems. Okay, let me tell you this one. So you are having different Unix flavors of Unix. Okay, so flavors means just like your Windows. As I told you, in Windows, if you know how to operate this Windows 8, see Windows XP, you can easily understand Windows 98. See, core OS is same. Just 5% changes you can find in Windows versions. Okay, in the same manner, in Unix also, different flavors will be there. That is, first one is Linux. Okay, Linux we have, and then means what is this Linux? Here, Linus Torvalds are there. Linus Torvalds, the name Linus Torvalds, I can tell you, like um, Linus Torvalds. Linus Torvalds. Who is this person? This person is, let me show you in net also, Linus Torvalds. So he is the one who has taken, see this person. Okay, he is the one who has taken the Unix source code from the net, and he has developed this Linux operating system. Okay, he has developed this Linux operating system. That's why he kept his name of first three letters of his name and last letters from Unix. Okay, so Linus Torvalds is the one who has took source code from the Unix and he has developed Linux operating system. Okay, that is the first one. Linus Torvalds has been developed. He is a person, and he has developed Linux operating system. He kept his name. Okay, and the another flavor of Unix operating system is IBM company took the source code of Unix and it has been developed his own operating system, that is AIX, which is developed by IBM company. Okay, AIX. Okay, and again, HP company also took the source code from the Unix. It has been developed HPUX. It is developed by HP company. Okay, they have taken different people have taken source code of Unix and they have developed their name. And iOS is also there. Okay, iOS has been developed by Mac company. Okay, Mac company took the source code which is available in the Unix source code and they have developed iOS. And again, you are having Solaris also. Solaris, one more company took the source code and they have developed. See, these all are flavors of Unix. I can say that flavors of Unix means flavors are nothing but just like where if you want to go with the chocolate flavor of ice cream flavors, chocolate flavor, then you will add just chocolate. If you want to get the mango flavor, then you will add some mango. But core base is ice cream only. If you add different flavors, you will get that particular ice cream. In the same manner, these all are different flavors of Unix, we can call it as. Okay, these are all the things we can call it as flavors of Unix. Okay, flavors of Unix. Okay, means here the different companies took the source code which is available in the net and they have developed their source code. Here, this source code is not at all free. If you want to access their source code, you have to pay some amount to these people. But this is free. Linus Torvalds is a good person. He has developed a source code and he is also kept the Linux source code open to the world. Okay, that's why it is free. Okay, so what happened? The different companies took this Linux source code which is available in the internet. Different companies took this source code which is available in the internet, and then they have developed their own names, like CentOS company will be there. CentOS, we can call it as, or CentOS also. Means community enterprise operating system. CentOS means. And again, we are having Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, Red Hat company took the source code of Linux and then they have developed Red Hat company. They have developed Red Hat Enterprise Linux. These are these all are free here. Okay, these are free. Okay, so most of the companies will be using these free versions only. Okay, so and again, many companies like Amazon company took the source code of Linux. They have developed Amazon Linux. And again, another company from Africa took the source code of Linux and they have developed Ubuntu. Ubuntu is one of the operating system of Linux. And then SUSE Linux is there. Any other operating systems? Do you know Linux operating systems? SUSE Linux is there. Any other operating systems? Do you know, guys? Did you heard any other operating systems? SUSE Linux is there, and then we have Fedora Linux. See, like this, we have more than 200 flavors of Linux. Okay, like this, we have more than 200 flavors of Linux. It is more than 200 flavors of Linux will be there. But in companies, most of the companies will be using Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Amazon Linux, Ubuntu, or CentOS. These four only are very popular. Okay, see, these only we are going to use. Why? Because they are freely available in the net. That's why. Okay, so did you understood up to these flavors of Unix and flavors of Linux? Everybody. If you see in companies, you are going to use different flavors of Linux. Some company will use Red Hat Enterprise. Some companies will be using Ubuntu. So you should not get confused about these terminologies. If you go to companies, you should not get confused about this. That's why I'm telling you brief introduction about this Unix. Okay. Did you understood this? Flavors of
Yes,
Linux and
ma'am.
flavors of Unix? Yes,
Yes,
very
ma'am.
good. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So now here, you will be having some idea about the Windows operating systems. Okay, like desktop and server operating system, and then flavors of Unix and flavors of Linux. Okay, and then here you might be thinking, why we should use Linux? Why we have to use Linux? You know that compared to Windows, Linux is difficult because in Windows, if you change any version, we can easily see in these all these flavors of Unix or flavors of Linux. Base core OS is 95% of core OS is same. Only 5% flavors will be different. Like if you see this, CentOS, 95% of base OS is Unix only. In CentOS, 95% of base OS is Unix. Only 5% of CentOS features will be there. Same, in the same manner, in Red Hat Enterprise Linux also, 95% of core OS is Unix. Okay, only 5% of RHEL features will be there. In the same manner, in all the operating systems, 95% of core OS is Unix only, in all OSs. Okay, only 5% flavors will be there in that particular operating system. That's why almost, if you know one operating system, remaining operating systems, you can easily understand. Okay, so here you might be thinking why we should use Linux. Why we should use Linux here? Because see, in Windows, if any versions are there, then we don't need external coaching. But whereas in Unix, you need coaching here. Sorry, in Linux, you require coaching. And of course, in Windows, that is user friendly because we are having a graphical user interface, and as well as CLI. Okay, but here, this is not a user friendly. This Linux is not a user friendly here. But even though many are using Linux, because we are getting many advantages compared to Windows, we are getting many advantages in Linux. Can anyone tell me the advantages which are having in Linux? Anybody? As someone told that it is very lightweight operating systems, I do accept that. That is absolutely fine. And any other advantages of this Linux apart from the Windows?
Free of cost.
Yes, of course. It is, so we can say that it is free of cost. Okay. Free of cost. And any other things? Any other advantages? See, as you said, it is open to, less, someone told that less vulnerabilities. What do you mean by that, Abhishek?
Open to this is open source code for Linux.
Yeah, that's what free of cost means. Source code is free. That is the meaning here. Free of cost means source code is open source, or source code is free to world. That is first advantage. And second one is, any idea? But in Windows, source code is not at all free. Okay, we need to purchase the license over there. Charging fee. Charging పెట్టుకొని చూడకు. So in Windows, it is not at all free. So second one most important thing is it is very secure. See, secure in the sense security in terms of what? Any idea to anyone? Basically, security will be there in terms of two major categories. That is, first one is security in terms of virus. Okay. And then security in terms of hacker attacks. Okay. So in Windows, see, coming to the virus, in Windows, if you talk about Windows, if you install any software in Windows, if you have virus in that software, then that virus will be spread to all files and folders. Is it not? That is the case in Windows. But in Linux, here, if you install any package or software in Linux, then that is confined to that particular folder. So that will not be spread throughout the operating system. Okay, that will be confined to that particular folder only. That's why we can say that it is virus free. Okay, that is the most important. And second one is hacker attacks. So in see, hacker attacks means generally hackers will enter into the ports and they may harm to our systems or our machines. Okay, generally hacker attacks are more to the Windows. Why? Because you know that Windows is easy to learn for us, but for hackers it is bit difficult, bit hard. Okay, whereas in Linux is difficult to learn for us. Is it not? Difficult for us. For hackers it is more difficult for us. For hackers it is more difficult. That's why hacker attacks are very less for Windows, it is for Linux. Okay, for Windows it is very easy for operating, but for hackers it is difficult. Whereas Linux is difficult for us, for hackers it is more difficult. That's why hacker attacks are very, 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 very less in case of Linux operating system. That is second most advantage here. Okay, and third one is it uses less resources. It uses less resources. Okay, see, what do you mean by less resources here? Any idea to anyone? Less resources means, see
For
here,
maintenance.
yes, of course, like as I said you in previous classes, as I told
Memory.
you, yeah, of course, exactly, memory. Suppose if you launch Windows EC2, how much hard disk was there for Windows EC2? How much it took? Hard disk 30 GB, right? If you remember
Yes.
clearly.
Yes, 30 GB.
Whereas in Linux, how
1
much
GB.
hard disk it took?
1 GB.
Huh? Hard disk for Linux EC2. How much it took? Anybody remember this one?
1
Anyone?
GB.
1 GB. 8 GB it was. Did you remember? For Windows, hard disk is 30 GB. For Linux, it was 8 GB only. Why? Because, let me give you one small example here. See here, why the Windows is taking more? It's not Windows, spelling mistake. Windows. Okay, why it is more? Why the Windows is taking more hard disk? See, let me give you one small example. Let me take some MP3 files. What do you mean by MP3 files? Which will be contain only audio. Okay, audio only will be there in MP3 files. That's why it will be having only in KBs. MP3 files will be having only in KBs. Suppose if you take MP4 files, what is the difference between MP3 and MP4? Any idea to anyone?
Video is there in MP4.
Yes, exactly. In MP4, it includes audio
Video and
plus
video.
video. That's why the memory of this MP4 will be in terms of almost in MBs. Okay, because video also there. That's why it consumes more RAM, more hard disk and all. Okay, so in the same manner, in Windows, we are having graphical user interface and then command line interface. Okay, whereas in Linux, we are having only command line interface. That's why we are having very less hard disk. Okay, whereas in Windows, we are having both. That's why it takes more hard disk. Of course, more RAM also. Okay, so in Windows, I can give you only, in olden days, you might have heard about MS-DOS, Microsoft Disk Operating System. Did anybody heard about this word? MS-DOS? Microsoft Disk Operating System?
Yes.
Yeah, in that only CLI is there. That's why it was very lightweight operating system and of course difficult also. Okay, that is third most advantage in case of Linux. It uses less resources. Okay, and next one is fourth one. Fourth one is it is multi-user and multitask. Before explaining about this multi-user and multitask, I would like to explain some terminologies like uh, single user, single task. What do you mean by single user, single task? I can give you example as for single user, single task, MS-DOS. Okay, MS-DOS operating system. In this, we are only one person can do one task at a time. That is the meaning of a single user, single task here. Okay, MS-DOS is the best example. Only one person can do only one task at a time. That is the meaning of single user, single task. Okay, so means in MS-DOS, if he is opening some command line interface, if he is typing anything, he cannot do any other task. That is the meaning here. Okay, next one is single user multitask. Single user multitask. Here, can anyone give you best example for this? Like your Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. These are all the operating systems will comes under single user multitask. That means in Windows, you can open one YouTube, you can listen songs, and you can do your work. Okay, is it not? That is the meaning of single user multitask. One user can do multiple tasks, right? You can listen YouTube songs, and in one window you can do your work. That is the meaning of single user multitask. Next one is multi-user multitask. Multi-user multitask best example is Linux. See, you might be thinking how it is going to work. Linux, how do you say that multi-user multitask means? Here, I can tell you, in Linux, what we are going to do? We are going to take one CPU will be there, and this one CPU will be connected to different monitors. If you connect different monitors, then different multiple people will work. Multiple people can connect to this, and multiple people can do tasks simultaneously. That is the meaning of multi-user multitask. Only in Linux it is possible here. Okay, that is the fourth advantage here. Means here you might be thinking monitors will be different, but core CPU is same, right? Same CPU, different people are using here. That is the meaning of multi-user multitask here. See, did you understand this one? The differences. Okay, so here in Windows also, of course, we can, how you might be asking how we are going to connect. We can create users in Linux. Okay, and different users will be log into the system and they can work together. You might be thinking, even in Windows also we can create users. Yes, of course. But in Windows, you can create only limited number of users. If you want to create unlimited users, some people have to come out. Then only other people can able to log in. But whereas in Linux, we can create any number of users and different people will be log in with their user credentials and they are going to work. Of course, in Linux class, we are going to see all these things, how to create users and all. Okay. Let me show you my slides here. You will understand easily till now. So these are my slides here. These are the slides. See here. See, this is about introduction of Linux. See, operating system is nothing but interface between user and computer. Suppose this is my computer and here is the user. How this user is communicating with this computer? You should have OS, that is operating system. Then only he can communicate with this hardware or laptop or hardware. You can call anything. Okay, you can say Unix flavors means like your ice cream flavors. Okay, you will be having different flavors of Unix. That is Linux, Mac OS, AX, Solaris, and HP. These all we have just now seen. Okay, and then next you will be having flavors of Linux also. RHEL, CentOS, Ubuntu, Amazon Linux, Fedora Linux, OpenSUSE, many Linux will be there. Okay, so why the Linux is? Because of these many advantages like multi-user multitasking, open source, it is having more security in terms of it is in terms of virus attacks and as well as hacker free. Okay, and of course it is needed less resources. Okay, so next one is this one. We will see. Let us see this one also. Did you understood up to this? Everybody, so that I can continue the next thing. Everyone, flavors of Unix, flavors of Linux, advantages of this, Linux and all. Understood, ma? Everyone? Understood?
Yes,
Yeah, fine. Okay, next we will see structure. Structure of OS. See, let us see the structure of OS I will compare with Windows so that you can easily understand. See, why I am telling all these things means, if you know these basics, then only in Linux class, you can easily understand whatever I'm trying to use. Okay. So let us see the structure of this things here. First, let me compare with, let me compare with Windows. Then you can easily understand. Okay, fine. Here, coming to the structure of this thing, let me take you one more diagram. Let me draw these diagrams here. Okay, and here also, let me change this one. Okay, fine. So, next one, let me type something. So, I'm taking different things so that you can easily understand. So, let me draw one more thing. See here, how it is going to be means, first you will be having hardware here. Let me first do for Windows, then I will explain for Linux. This is for Windows here. The structure of Windows will be how it is going to be. Let us see. Okay. So here, See, this is for, this is hardware here. And then this is OS, that means operating system here. And then this is nothing but shell here. This is nothing but shell. And we have one more thing. Yeah, this one. This one is nothing but I can give a name as user. Here it is user. In Windows, see here, first what will be happen if anybody or user will be interacting with the shell. Shell will be interacting with the OS and OS will be interacting with the hardware. Okay, if you type something, then how it is going to be execute? Shell is nothing but what do you mean by shell? Just like, command prompt. If you type CMD, you will be getting black color screen, right? Black color screen. This is nothing but the shell here. Okay, if you open your command prompt, you can see some black color screen over there. That is nothing but the shell here. Okay, this one. This is a shell here. Okay, so generally in Windows also you'll be having shell. So user will be communicating with the shell. Shell will be communicating with the operating system, and the operating system will be communicating with the hardware. In the same manner, we are going to get the response also. Hardware will be giving response to OS, OS giving response to the shell, and shell will be giving response to the user. Okay, you might be thinking, where the graphical user interface, where it will comes? See, graphical user interface is nothing but an extra layer here. Okay, let me show you that. Extra layer on top of this shell. Okay, on top of this shell, some extra layer will be there. Okay, that is called as graphical user interface. Some extra layer will be there on top of your shell. Okay, that is the graphical user interface here. Okay, let me show you the difference for Linux, how the structure will be there in case of Linux. Okay, so let me draw the diagram. So take one more. Yeah, here. So in case of Linux, how it is going to be means, here you are having, this is your hardware. Here also almost structure will be same. See, in case of Windows, we are having some extra layer will be there. That layer we are going to call it as, this layer we are going to call it as graphical layer. In case of, in case of this Windows. Whereas in Linux, we are having hardware. Okay, so, and then we are having OS here, and then we are having here also shell only, and then user. Okay, so user will be communicating with the shell, shell will be communicating with the OS, OS will be communicating with the hardware. In the same manner, we are going to get the response back. Hardware will be giving response to OS, OS will be giving response to shell, shell will be giving response to user. See, in case of Linux, we should not say as OS, we should say as kernel. In Linux terminology, this OS we are going to call it as kernel. Okay, we will be calling it as Linux kernel. Okay, Red Hat Enterprise Linux kernel. Like that, we are going to call in case of your Linux. Okay, so this is the thing here. Okay, understanding, right? You understood the difference between Linux structure and Windows structure, right? Any doubts in this? Anyone? Anybody are having any doubts in this? Yes, ma'am. Any doubts in today's class? Anyone?
Is not there in graphical layer in Linux?
Sorry? Sorry?
Is it not present in graphical layer in Linux?
No. Generally here, you know, there will be separate softwares. Of course, we can, if you want, we can even install. But the thing is, if you use graphical layer, then what is the difference between this Windows and the Linux? What do you mean by graphical layer here? See, graphical layer is nothing but like this, GUI, graphical user interface. See, you can see many folders here, right? See this one, many files will be there, many folders will be there. We will not use generally command prompt in Windows. We will be using this graphical user layer. This is what the graphical user interface here. You don't think in a different thing. Okay. Graphical user interface means many files and folders will be there. No, if you click here, you will be getting many subfolders like this. These are nothing but graphical user interface here. Graphical layers. Okay. See in Windows, how it is going to be communicate. See, user will be communicating with graphical layer. Graphical layer will be communicating with shell. Shell will be communicating with OS, and it will be communicating with the hardware. In the same manner, we are going to get response in reverse order. But whereas in Linux, we won't have any graphical user layer. We won't prefer also. Okay, see, you trust me. Linux, if you learn Linux, even in future, if you switch your technology also, you are going to, this Linux will help you in your entire career. In future, if you switch your technology also, everywhere Linux will comes into the picture. If you don't know Linux, definitely you will face problem in companies. Okay, because most of the companies will be using, of course, all our DevOps tools we are going to install in Linux OS only. That's fine. Okay, understanding, right? Everybody. Everybody, did you understood today's class? Everyone?
Ma'am, what is kernel?
Kernel is
Sorry.
nothing but OS, operating system. In Windows, we are going to call it as operating system, whereas in Linux, we are going to call it as kernel. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing more than that. Okay, let
Okay.
me show you my PPT, then you will understand. I forgot to show you this one, right? PPT. So here, where is my PPT? Yeah, here. See here. This is hardware. This is kernel, shell, user interface. This is the architecture of Linux. User will be communicating with shell. Shell will be communicating with the OS. OS or kernel. Both are same. But in Linux, generally we are going to call it as kernel. Okay. Kernel will be communicating with hardware. In the reverse manner, we are going to get the, response. Hardware will be giving response to OS or kernel. Kernel will be giving response to shell, and shell will be giving response to user. Okay. In the reverse order, we are going to get the things here. Okay, next one is we are having next important thing, that is file system hierarchy. Okay, today let me stop this class today because it will be taking next class we will see last topic, that is file system hierarchy, and then we'll jump into the practicals in next class. Okay, so you should know the file system hierarchy. That is very, 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 very important. Okay, tomorrow's class, please don't miss tomorrow's class. That is the most important part of Linux here. Okay, if you know the file system structure and folders, then you can easily understand even in DevOps also how we are going and how we are coming back. Okay, easily you can understand the DevOps things. Okay, next class we'll see some more last concept in Linux, and then we'll jump into the practicals in next class. Okay, understanding, right? Got it? Do you have any doubts in today's class, everyone?
Ma'am, is it enough to learn Linux to learn DevOps?
Yes. See, whatever things we are using in DevOps, all those Linux basics will be covered. Okay, and of course, Linux is a ocean. We cannot learn complete Linux. If you want to learn complete Linux, again, it will be a 1-year course. Okay, don't go in deep. Okay, whatever the things are required for learning DevOps tools, up to that only, I'm going to teach you. And of course, in DevOps also, first 3 to 4 classes, I will tell you Linux basics. And apart from that, while learning DevOps tools, we will be learning some more commands in Linux. Okay. So basic things, whatever are required in AWS and Linux, I will teach you. No need to worry at all. Okay, from basic onwards, I will tell you. Okay, any other doubts to anyone?
Yeah. So, Jyothi, I was looking at the class yesterday. So I know you mentioned about the MobX term software which is used to access Linux, but I
Yes.
have a Mac machine. So I'm not sure the MobX term is quite working on that. So do you have
Yeah,
any
you can even
suggestions?
download Git Bash.
Git Bash? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you can try this. This will work even for Mac also. Okay.
Okay.
I think you will
MobX
be
term was
getting.
not MobXtem was like actually not installing for some reason. So okay, I'll try the Git Bash then. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't install or you were unable to install.
I was unable to install the MobXtem. So
You
it
were
got
unable to
downloaded.
install.
It got downloaded, but the setup.exe file was not running. So I couldn't make it install.
Is it?
So yeah.
Just a minute. Let me check. MobileXterm. Let me give you. MobileXterm.
It doesn't work in Mac OS, no? You have to use a different extension.
Yeah, see, in Mac, I think,
I downloaded from the site itself. So usually
yeah,
there is a Mac option provided for each and every software, but I didn't see that over there.
just a minute, let me check this. Yeah, just a minute. I think it's there for Mac also.
Is there? Okay, let me
Yeah, now
double check.
it's there. Previously, it was not there, but even
Okay.
MobileXterm is there for Mac also. You just try it. You will,
Okay.
it will definitely work out. Previously,
Right.
this was not there for Mac, but recently they have started even for Mac also.
All
Okay,
right.
it's most popular terminal, which generally most companies are prefer. Okay, it
Okay.
is now available for Mac also. You can use, no problem.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah, see, like in Mac, you will be having some different extension, I guess.
Yeah,
we
You're
can use
using,
also Ubuntu also.
sorry,
Ubuntu website is also used for Linux.
in Ubuntu? I didn't get you.
Uh,
Can you please come again?
Ma'am, is it possible to Ubuntu is also hands-on on Linux, ma'am?
Yeah, we will do. Some tools we will be seeing in Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and some tools we will be seeing in Ubuntu. Because in companies, you do not know which OS you are going to do. That's why in both operating, most 99% of the companies will be using Ubuntu and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, those two we will see. Different tools will be installing in different OS. No need to worry at all. Both tools we will see. But initial basics, I'm going to make you to learn in Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Then we will see some tools like Ansible, Jenkins, and even, of course, if you want, I will tell you real-time projects in Ubuntu only. It's up to you.
Okay.
Both tools, both OS we will see. No problem at all. There is no problem in that. Yeah, any other doubts from anyone? Have you created AWS account, everyone? Can you please respond, guys? Have you created AWS account?
Yes, ma'am, I have created.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
I have
remaining people?
created 1 year back ago.
Okay.
Now this time is working or not?
I
That
think
account.
free version has been over, right? If it is
Yes,
1
ma'am.
year. Yeah, you can create one more AWS account with one more mail ID, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you practiced the things which we have discussed in the previous classes?
Yes.
Yeah, fine. Anybody are having any idea on Linux OS here? Anybody are working on Linux now?
I have learned only basics now and Linux.
Basics. Okay, fine, no problem. Here we are going to see the basics which we are going to cover in the DevOps. Okay, tomorrow we'll see one more last concept, that is file system hierarchy. I will compare with the Windows. Why I am comparing with Windows means if I tell you about Windows, then most of the people are using Windows. That's why if I tell you about Windows, then it will be easy for you to understand in Linux. That's why I'm comparing with Windows. I'm comparing with Windows. because most of the people are using Windows. That's why. Okay. If I compare with Windows, then you can easily understand. You can easily understand Linux. That's why. Okay. So tomorrow I will start with the file system hierarchy, and then we will jump into the practicals tomorrow itself. Okay. So all the basics we will cover. Maximum 3 to 4 classes maximum. By the end of this weekend we will try to finish the Linux basics, and from next week onwards we'll jump into the, if possible this weekend only, we will try to see the DevOps tools only. Okay. So maximum, but you should know the basics of Linux. That's why I'm very specific about Linux, because most of the people doesn't know how to use Linux. That's why. Okay. So any other doubts from anyone? Shall I wind up the session, or do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am, no doubts.
Okay, fine. My humble request from my end is, every day you are going to get the recorded video. Please go through the recorded video and try to prepare your own notes. Okay, because at the time of interview, you should not face any problem. Okay, you just refer the notes so that it will be easy for you. Okay, so that's why I'm requesting you, each and every day you just go through the recorded video and try to prepare your own notes, and at the same time you just practice then and there only. Then if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the next class. And of course, if you have any doubts, you can even post in the group. We have WhatsApp group, right? In that group, you can post your doubts. Okay. If anybody are familiar with that, you no need to wait for my response in the group. Okay. If you have any doubts technically, you can discuss among yourself. Okay. Somebody are having already idea on that, you can discuss. Okay. I may not respond. If time is available, then I will give response in the group. If not, definitely I will address all your issues in the class. Okay. If I get time, then I will respond in group only. Otherwise, if anybody are having any idea on that particular query, which the other people are raising, then you can give response. Okay. So that it's a communication of technical discussion that WhatsApp group is. Okay. So tomorrow we will see all the things, which some basics in Linux apart from the structure. Okay. So I'm winding up the session. If you don't have any doubts, you can leave the class. I'll wind up the class. Okay. Bye everyone. Have a nice sleep. Good night.